Incidents of injustice in mainland China are happening more frequently, causing widespread anger and continuous protests. On the night of September 11th, over 1,000 residents in Yangqu County, Taiyuan, Shanxi, took to the streets to protest the government's mishandling of a school bullying case. The footage shows angry crowds marching towards the county government, chanting slogans. Many were live-streaming the event on their phones. The large gathering at the government building gave the impression of a riot. The Chinese authorities, who prioritized maintaining stability, were alarmed and deployed a large number of police. Some protesters live-streaming the event were arrested.
They're arresting people now. The police are arresting those who are live-streaming. They're not allowing any publicity here.
The incident began with a violent school bullying case that occurred in late August. According to a video report by Radio Free Asia on September 12, 5 minors under the age of 14 assaulted and humiliated a girl, forcing her to kneel. The police's slow response to the case angered the victim's parents, who repeatedly demanded justice at the police station. According to insiders, the delay in handling the case was due to connections between the perpetrators' families and the local police. As videos of the bullying spread online, the case gained widespread attention. From September 9th, citizens began gathering in front of the local police station to show support for the victim. Although some posts and videos related to the incident appeared on Weibo on September 9th, they were quickly deleted. On September 10th, the Yangqu County government issued a statement confirming the authenticity of the bullying video and acknowledged that the perpetrators were under 14 years old. As to why the police did not respond promptly, the statement claimed that neither the victim nor the perpetrators reported the incident to their parents or the authorities in time. It added that all 5 perpetrators were now in custody for investigation. The public, however, was not satisfied with the authorities' explanation or response. A day after the police's statement, protests escalated. On the night of September 11th, over 1,000 people gathered outside the county government, demanding action. The government quickly deployed a large number of special police officers to control the situation. In one video, a man identifying himself as Liu Bo, the deputy county chief and head of the local police station, appeared at the protest site and provided an update to the case, attempting to calm the angry crowd. He explained that the perpetrators of the bullying video were between 9 and 13 years old. 2 students over 12 were sent to a reform school, while a 9-year-old and 2 others who did not meet the criteria for criminal charges were reprimanded along with their parents. Liu denied any connections between the perpetrators and the local police. He also mentioned that 2 people were detained for spreading rumors. However, many citizens continued to protest, shouting, "We can't hear you." The deputy county chief's speech failed to appease the crowd, and protests continued until the early hours of the next day. Eventually, the victim's father, accompanied by the head of the local judiciary, appeared at the scene and addressed the crowd. The father said,
"We've discussed it thoroughly, and things have been resolved to our satisfaction. Please go home and rest. Thank you all."
With the father's statement, the crowd slowly dispersed. However, some witnesses reported that during the protests, multiple live streams were blocked, and some people were arrested for broadcasting the event. Although the case seems to have been resolved, it remains unclear what conditions the victim's parents agreed to or whether they were pressured to speak. What is certain is that without the support and resistance of the 1,000-plus protesters, this case would likely have been swept under the rug. In China, those without power or connections are often left to the mercy of others. In this instance, the victim gained public support, and with the situation drawing attention, the family might receive some compensation, which they may consider a victory. Commenting on the situation, one netizen said, "The Chinese police only protect officials, and they suppress ordinary people with violence. This is what it's like in a CCP-controlled region." Another added, "When the people unite, the government becomes afraid." Unfortunately, school bullying cases in China are not rare, and numerous videos of such incidents circulate online. Here's another example of a case that caught public attention. On the night of September 8th, several videos went viral online, showing a girl from Yangqu Bilingual School tearfully recounting the horrific abuse she endured from a male classmate during 6th grade. According to the girl, this boy repeatedly stabbed her with sharp objects like iron awls and compasses, and even used tools like knives and hammers to harm her, sometimes even in the classroom. That time he stabbed me with that long needle, it was about 7 or 8 centimeters long, and he almost pushed the entire needle in. The flesh around the puncture had completely rotted. It hurt so much. My blood was flowing all the way down here. I really don't know what I did wrong. Before, he even told me to kneel and apologize to him. I don't know what I did to deserve that. Every time he stabbed me, he would ask, "Is this fun?" and laugh, saying, "Is this fun? Do you want to try again?" The boy, who transferred to the school during 6th grade, threatened the girl, saying that his father knew the principal, and that if she reported the bullying, he would get her expelled. To intimidate her further, he boasted about breaking a classmate's bones at his previous school, which was resolved by merely paying some compensation. He didn't just stab me with that needle 218 times, he also used thumbtacks, compasses, and even a big awl. The footage shows the girl's uniform pants covered with countless punctures from the awl and needles. The abuse didn't stop there. He also extorted money from her, demanding amounts ranging from 200 to 400 yuan. Reports from Chinese media describe the girl as an outstanding student who excelled academically in ballet and in basketball. She was an active member of the school choir. However, her peaceful life was shattered when the boy transferred to her school, and she was subjected to daily torment. At the time of the incidents, both the boy and the girl were in the same class in 6th grade. When the homeroom teacher saw the girl's bleeding arms and legs, she merely sent her to the school nurse. Even when classmates told the teacher about the abuse, the teacher scolded the girl, telling her not to provoke others. After the parents found out, they demanded the school take action, but 3 months later, no apology was received from the boy's family, and he continued to attend school. The school advised the girl to transfer, leaving her mother feeling devastated and heartbroken. The girl's mother, determined to fight against the violence, refused to compromise and took the issue to the police. According to reports from local media, the Zhangqiu District Education and Sports Bureau, along with the Shanxi police station, investigated the case in June. The police stated that the case did not meet the criteria for criminal charges and suggested civil mediation. The Education Bureau also concluded that it did not qualify as bullying, effectively leaving the girl to deal with the trauma alone, and the boy remained unpunished. Currently, both the boy and girl are in 7th grade at the same school, but in different classes. The girl's parents have requested a refund of 2 years' worth of tuition fees and demanded the boy's expulsion, but the school has yet to agree. With no resolution in sight, the girl's mother turned to the internet for help, uploading the video online on September 8th, which immediately sparked public outcry. On September 10th, a video posted by the parents revealed that a meeting was held on August 8, 2024, involving the school officials, the girl's lawyer, and local police. The outcome of the meeting, based on a vote, determined that the boy's actions did not constitute bullying. 8 out of 14 attendees voted against labeling the behavior as bullying, leaving the family in disbelief. On September 11th, the topic trended on Douyin. In response, the propaganda department of Zhangqiu District in Jinan, Shandong, announced that a task force had been formed to investigate the matter. Led by the deputy district mayor in charge of education, they promised to communicate with the family to reach a satisfactory resolution. The issue continues to spread across social media, with many influencers expressing their views. A Douyin blogger commented,
"The way this case is being handled sends a message that violence in schools can be ignored, and bullying can be openly tolerated. Is this a way of respecting public opinion, or are they just shirking responsibility? If this kind of horrifying behavior isn't considered bullying, then what is? Should the 200 needles be returned to the bully, one by one? If this doesn't count as violence, perhaps the officials' children should experience it too. Parents are terrified not only of their children's physical harm, but also the system's indifference to school violence. Using a vote to decide if this was bullying is a second blow to the victim and a challenge to public morals."
Netizens also expressed their anger in the comments. Is there a standard for bullying? If one student unjustly bullies another, it's bullying. If stabbing someone over 200 times isn't bullying, then what is? How many more stabs does it take to establish charges? Others added, if this had happened to the Education Bureau chief's child or the principal's child, would it be a different story? If the roles were reversed, would charges be filed? Some netizens questioned the process. How can this be decided by a vote? Shouldn't the principal be investigated? What if it was their child? This is absurd. How can school staff vote to decide if it's bullying? And how can the police use this as an excuse to not file charges? Finally, others noted, if the girl were from a rich or powerful family, the bully would have been arrested long ago, but because she's from a poor family, the police refused to take action. Meanwhile, another similar bullying case in Beijing was exposed by Phoenix News, highlighting the irony of the system. A primary school student, Zhang, was being bullied by a classmate, Wang, and told his father about it. One day after school, Zhang's father confronted Wang at the school gate, questioning him for over 20 minutes. Surveillance footage shows that Mr. Zhang became increasingly agitated during the confrontation. He warned Wang that if he continued bullying his son, he would be considered a juvenile offender in 2 years. He also threatened that older students would watch Wang, and if he bullied again, they would hit him with bricks, leaving his parents to care for him for life. Terrified, Wang went home crying and couldn't sleep without leaving the lights on. His parents later reported the incident to the police, leading Mr. Zhang to be detained for 10 days. Mr. Zhang contested the detention and filed a lawsuit, but on September 10th, the Beijing No. 2 Intermediate People's Court upheld the original ruling. The court ruled that, according to China's Public Security Administration's punishment law, Mr. Zhang's actions amounted to unlawful detention of another person. The police acted appropriately by issuing a 10-day administrative detention, and the punishment was deemed lawful and justified, so the court did not support Mr. Zhang's claim. Once this case became public, it sparked widespread outrage online. Many netizens expressed frustration, pointing out the irony that a girl being stabbed 218 times in a bullying incident did not lead to any charges, while a father who confronted a bully for 20 minutes was jailed for 10 days. Comments poured in, with people saying things like, "What kind of world is this? It's completely upside down." And who would dare to have kids in such a society, only for them to be bullied by the children of the powerful? A Douyin influencer with over 2 million followers said,
A girl gets stabbed 218 times, and it's not considered bullying. But a parent questioning the bully for 20 minutes gets detained for 10 days. I forced myself to watch a bullying video from a school in Zhangqiu district, and I was shocked and filled with anxiety. If the authorities and schools continue to handle these cases this way, schools will turn into arenas of barbarism. Watching the girl cry in despair in the video is heartbreaking. This once bright child is now lost in hopelessness. Any decent person watching can feel her helplessness and her parents' rage. Yet the reality is deeply disappointing.
He continued, the local education bureau didn't deem the case serious enough to open a criminal investigation and simply dismissed it as a regular dispute. If this isn't considered bullying, then our definition of bullying has become absurdly lenient. Shouldn't we hold guardians responsible just as other countries do? The blogger also criticized the authorities for focusing on the parents' requests for a refund rather than addressing the deeper issue of bullying. He said, this misplaced priority is a tacit approval of the bully's behavior.
The recently exposed case on Phoenix News highlights an ironic contrast. Xiao Zhang was bullied with no consequences, but his father gets detained for standing up to the bully. In this twisted game of justice, victims can't fight back, and parents can't seek compensation. Fatherly love is met with cold handcuffs. So, what are parents supposed to do when faced with their children's tears? While Mr. Zhang's actions may have been extreme, who can deny it was an act of despair? The bully may think twice now, but the bigger question remains, who will hold the guardians of these little tyrants accountable?
In fact, the unfair handling of school bullying cases is just a reflection of the many injustices in China today. However, these particular cases have sparked widespread public outrage, with people angrily asking, who is responsible for turning our country into what it is now?
The law should serve those in power, not oppress the powerless. If it can't protect the vulnerable, then it's not a real law. The authorities cover up these issues, maintaining a false image of peace and harmony, while ignoring the systematic oppression and injustice. Our society is becoming more rigidly divided, and those at the bottom are treated like livestock. Are those in power truly human, or are they something else entirely? With schools raising children like cattle, and education managed by corrupt individuals, how can our children, society, and country ever hope to improve?